He goes, it's just going to be the right wind, and fire's going to start in the right place, and it's going to burn through LA all the way to the ocean, and there's not a thing we can do about it. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through LA, and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it.
Captured on camera in the Pacific Palisades, evacuations expanding tonight. Thousands of homes and businesses destroyed.
I want to know where the hell our Wi-Fi is coming from. Just look at some of these images. These look like straight out of a movie, but these are real. You telling me we can send billions of dollars to Ukraine to fight a war, but we don't have the resources to stop a wildfire before it burns down an entire part of a city? And we've been dealing with wildfires for a long time, especially in the state of California and places like Canada and all that stuff. PS5 is about to release technology that can make you smell what's in the game, but we haven't invented something to stop wildfires. There's no way. I know I'm ignorant. I'm being ignorant to something. I know, the winds, it's hard to control all that extra shit, but there's no way we haven't invented something that can stop a wildfire before it gets this bad.
Look, when I got there the other day, I went up there yesterday, it looked like Dresden, after Bomber Harris got through with it. Yeah.
Mel,
so nothing left.
For those of us watching this from afar, try to convey to us the feeling of seeing your home, your neighbors' homes, and the community there at such a loss.
I mean, it's tragic. It makes you really sad. I was actually, there are neighbors I have that I was actually looking at them. I felt worse for them than I did for myself. I look at it as a strange mixture of sadness and almost kind of an elation in a sense that I count my blessings, no matter what. These are things, and they may or may not be replaceable, but they're only things. And we're still here, and I just kind of look at it as almost in a weird kind of way of purification but of course, it's very sad, and there were many things, gone in the blaze that, I've thought about since. I thought, oh, damn, that's too bad. But, works of art, photographs, rare books, old books. Some as old as, 1600, it's like crazy.
Irreplaceable.
And irreplaceable stuff, yeah. We suspects that this might happen, but one thinks that the resources, and the capabilities of the men and women will be on standby, that they'll be able to cope with any situation that comes up. But apparently, some people were asleep on the job, mainly our leaders there. But, that's something they have to live with, and but that's something the community has to live with. It's really sad. I mean, I have many friends that are, looking for a place to put a roof over their heads, and kids, and they're traumatized. Someone should answer for it, but we'll see. I think we know who the culprits are. In fact, my son he's a member of the volunteer fire brigade. He sort of interfaces between LA County Fire and people, and they assist them where they can during, before, and after the blaze. And apparently the residents in Corral Canyon caught an arsonist up there. And the guy was all tooled up with fire gear and equipment and stuff like that, and ready to go. And he had been lighting fires, but they corralled the guy in Corral Canyon and gave him to the police. So
yeah, apparently
actively going around looking for these conditions. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently, Mel, that individual was never charged. It's a very confusing set of facts because apparently he was reportedly trying to light things on fire, but it's not the fires, I guess, that they. I mean, it all seems very bizarre. But they have not ruled out that arson could have started the first fire. There's obviously still investigating this, and at the same time, Mel, there are numerous complaints, as you alluded to, that the fire hydrants did not have water or water pressure, and the LA fire chief herself reacted. Watch this.
My stance on this is when a firefighter comes up to a hydrant, we expect there's going to be water. We don't control the water supply. Our firefighters are there to protect lives and property and to make sure that we're properly trained and equipped. That's my position on this. So if there's no water, I don't know how the water gets to the hydrants.
Mel, reaction to
that? Well, I know they were messing with the water, letting reserves go for one reason or another. They've been doing that a while. California has a lot of problems that sort of baffle the mind as far as why they do things. And then in the events like this, you sort of look, well, is it on purpose? Which it's an insane thing to think. But one begins to ponder whether or not there is a purpose in mind. What could it be? I don't know. Do they want the state empty? I don't know.
So basically, this is going to be the big land grab in California history. It's so overcrowded in Los Angeles that for the last few years, they've been putting homeless people on buses and shipping them out hours away to surrounding counties. It's still not enough. All the new major tech, entertainment, and social media companies want their headquarters in Los Angeles, around all the content creators, all the entertainers, celebrities, where everything is trendy. If you think these people who are homeless, losing their homes and businesses, is about to go back to that land and just rebuild and start their lives over, you're tripping. You don't know how it works. These insurance companies that are dropping them, they're successful because they do the same thing thing all big businesses do. That's one major company own multiple companies that own companies that own companies. So if they ever mess a bunch of people over or get into trouble, you only can sue that one company, not the major company. They'll just file for bankruptcy and you won't affect the CEO's money or none of that. But back on track to this land grab. They're going to start offering people checks, reminding them that they can just go get a new house, new car, new furniture, instead of waiting 5 to 7 years to go to court with these insurance companies to try to get them to pay you out for dropping you during hard times in a natural disaster. You think they're not going to take that check? Don't be silly. This is a land grab and it's just happening right here in front of our eyes. I'll be the first to tell you.
That shows the timeline of how this fire advanced through the communities of Pacific Palisades and Malibu. Here it is, January 7th at 6:17. It was at 2,900 acres. And then on January 8th, that explosion to 15,000 acres. And then the next day, 17,000 acres as it progressed into the mountains. And then on the 9th, 19,000 acres. And you can see how far it had gotten into Malibu. And then we come to yesterday at 20,000 acres. And you can see 20 and then to 21,000 acres. But you see
biggest celebrities' homes have been burned to the ground in the apocalyptic Los Angeles wildfires. Anthony Hopkins' home is gone, as the devastating photos show the house before and after the recent wildfires. John Goodman's house has been completely destroyed, and all that now remains is his backyard pool. Miles Teller's $7.5 million dream home is another building which is now entirely wiped out. Paris Hilton says she watched her home burn to the ground on live TV, while Matthew Perry's home has been engulfed and Harrison Ford was forced to evacuate. The list continues to grow as Eugene Levy, Billy Crystal, and Adam Brody are also among those whose homes are destroyed, while dozens of other stars now face an anxious wait alongside their neighbors to learn if anything could be saved and to pick up the pieces of their multi-million-dollar homes.
So as things get worse and people get more desperate and more violent, the ruling class is going to need more cops to put down dissent and to protect property. Now, when it comes to underfunding the fire department, well, the easiest way or the best way to degrade confidence in an institution, especially a government institution, is to underfund it. See what's happening with the Department of Education. So if during a crisis people see that the fire department can't handle it, and the state's paying for it, our tax dollars are paying for it, well, if a government can't do it, privatize it. And a lot of rich people lost their homes in the Palisades. So what are we going to see soon? Real estate CEO and resident of the Palisades, who apparently lost his house, Keith Wasserman, who's blocked me. Does anyone have access to private firefighters to protect our home in Pacific Palisades? We need to act fast here. All neighbors' houses are burning. We'll pay any amount. Thank you. So there's going to be a massive push to privatize the fire department. It's going to maybe, I don't know how it would look like, but I guess the business model would be like you pay a subscription service, like an insurance premium, and you'll be covered in network. Speaking of not being covered anymore, yeah, a lot of the fire insurance protections by like State Farm in that area were revoked. So a couple months ago, so people are no longer insured, and they've just completely lost their houses. Climate change and capitalism, the main driver of climate change, is making risk impossible to price. So when homes and businesses of millions of Americans become uninsurable, economies and states die. But you can see in this increasingly dystopic future, like in the next 10 years, untold amounts of permanently displaced people who fled from high-risk climate zones, ending up in these refugee camps, that our politicians will blithely ignore, just like they do in Palestine. Because they would absolutely allow it to happen to you. They make money off endless wars, and they make money off of increased privatization in all sectors. Because a lot of these people sit on an average of 3 to 4 boards in different economic sectors. So, let's start talking about that in Guillotines 2028.